This is Alyssa Montgomery. She's a 15-year-old high school student. She lives a very typical 15-year-old high school student life. Each day, she wakes up about 6 minutes after her first alarm, the same amount of time it takes for the snooze to wear off. She grabs her bag for school, leaving her bag for dance, and gets dressed. She brushes her teeth using only her favorite flavor of toothpaste. She does her hair about 7 different ways, and it'll still change later that day. She half-heartedly attends class, and then takes a trip to the bathroom, the first of many unnecessary trips to the bathroom in a day for her. She attends another class, and then takes another trip to the restroom. She attends class, and then she heads home for a trip to the bathroom. She then gets ready for dance, she attends dance, and then she settles in for the night. These are the only things that Alyssa Montgomery does each day. Except sometimes, she forgets that she has homework. Today, however, Alyssa is not awake yet. It has been approximately 5 minutes and 49 seconds since her first alarm, leaving roughly 11 seconds until Alyssa wakes up for the day. On most mornings, Alyssa's mother leaves a Tupperware container of breakfast for her on the countertop. As if the meal is a mayfly on the cusp of June, Alyssa takes a sharp right to dispose of the breakfast in her neighbor's trash can. She's able to do this much easier on trash days. She does know this neighbor due to a brief interaction they had last summer at his ice cream shop. A small, quaint building that formerly served as a ticket booth. The neighbor hadn't figured out how to remove the gates from the windows, and so he served Alyssa from the outside. It's safe to say that Alyssa took the neighbor off guard when all she ordered was a bottle of water. To which the neighbor understandably questioned, "You came here for a water?" Alyssa explained that she came to spend time with her friends, and she doesn't like ice cream much. The neighbor had trouble believing this. He then confronted Alyssa about her throwing full meals inside his trash can. This took Alyssa by surprise, and she suspiciously replied that she does not like her mother's cooking, and she doesn't want to hurt her feelings, and then she awkwardly exited the frame. Alyssa doesn't have time to ponder this interaction, though, as she has biology vocabulary due in first hour that she has yet to start. Once at school, she heads for the bathroom and parks herself at a mirror, where she'll gaze at her features for the next few moments. She does this quite often, each time expecting something to change. She's not sure what, though. the 7 o'clock bell. School starts at 7:30, therefore there are relatively no students in the building aside from Alyssa and the boys' swim team, who practice at ludicrously early hours for reasons unbeknownst. Today, however, the bell serves as a reminder to Alyssa that she still has that assignment due. Alyssa's been working away for a few moments now, sitting in the empty sculpting studio. All sophomore classes take place here for the time being due to a pipe breaking in the sophomore hallway. She has roughly 23 minutes and 42 seconds to finish 12 more definitions, giving her just under 2 minutes to find each word. However, Alyssa will soon realize that she is facing two challenges. The first challenge, finishing the vocabulary before class starts, and the second, staying conscious through lack of bare minimum protein for the human body of a 15-year-old female. A challenge that will undoubtedly make the prior challenge much harder to accomplish. With the first pain occurring in her stomach, let the challenges begin. The last word she is able to define is ghrelin, which ironically is defined as a peptide hormone produced mostly in the stomach that increases appetite by stimulating the pituitary gland to secrete growth hormone. Alyssa passed out roughly 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. After she passed out, the following events took place. A janitor entered the room and turned on classical music, as janitors do. He then noticed Alyssa on the floor. He scrambled around the room for some time trying to find a phone to call 911, disregarding that he had a phone in his pocket. In the meantime, Alyssa woke up and tried to convince him that she was okay. He wasn't having it. Alyssa now sits in the office, a very poorly lit room she typically avoids. She's been given a goodie bag, and she's been instructed to eat everything in the goodie bag before she returns to class. Apparently, the goodie bag only includes a singular pack of peanut butter crackers. While she did promptly dispose of said crackers, the thought of eating them makes her need to use the restroom. Alyssa now sits in health class where the substitute teacher is screening a documentary titled No No Nicotine, an outdated film that uses lung cancer to fearmonger the students into never picking up a cigarette. Alyssa isn't paying attention though, as she's concocting her plan to tackle her worst enemy, the cafeteria. Ever since she was in elementary school, Alyssa has hated the cafeteria. Loud children, no privacy, and, not that it matters much these days, but absolutely no good food in sight. Alyssa takes different approaches to skipping lunch in order to avoid being caught, and today she's planning to leave class and hide somewhere safe for the half hour. While her classmates have all asked to use the restroom or have fallen asleep, Alyssa sneaks out while the substitute teacher scrolls on his phone. Alyssa takes extreme precautions when it comes to skipping lunch. One wrong move, and a faculty member will make a call home to her mother. She's been brainstorming ideas since the 7th grade, and by now, has quite the long list of reasons to... Oh. It seems as though Alyssa has blacked out again due to her phobia of the cafeteria. Let's just hope her unconscious body sticks to the plan. Alyssa doesn't know it yet, but her unconscious body carried her to the cafeteria storage unit, very much not sticking to the plan. Because of this unfortunate occurrence, what Alyssa also doesn't know is that the very secret that her life balances on is about to unravel due to 2 loose ends. The first one, the lunch lady. Apparently the office assigned Miss Foster to Alyssa in order to ensure that she ate lunch today. Alyssa explains to Miss Foster that she intended on eating in here for a little bit of privacy. Miss Foster says Alyssa's going to need a better explanation than that. And while Alyssa attempts to lie herself out of this situation, another one is taking place back home. The neighbor. We already know this character briefly, but now, in an act of humanitarianism, he's decided to take the evidence he has against Alyssa to Alyssa's mother. Back at school, Miss Foster is peppering Alyssa with questions such as, "Why do I never see you in the cafeteria? Why did you pass out in biology class? And, is that a bowl of puke?" Alyssa had no idea she was holding this bowl. The neighbor is now on the topic of the meals inside his trash can. Miss Foster is giving Alyssa quite an attitude. Alyssa has no idea what to say. The neighbor and her mother are busy deciding how to approach the situation. Miss Foster is giving Alyssa no choice but to eat lunch today. Alyssa's mother decides that she'll try getting her a treat, and the neighbor wishes her luck. Alyssa feels like throwing up. It has been roughly 6 hours and 53 minutes since the ordeal with Miss Foster and the neighbor. In the time since, Alyssa did comply with Miss Foster and ate a chicken sandwich at lunch, to which she threw up shortly afterward. She attended the rest of her classes and headed home. On her walk home, you just saw her puke once again in a neighborhood trash can. Her mother, on the other hand, stopped at a bakery to get Alyssa that treat, and rushed home to continue making dinner for her. Dinner should be ready any moment. Before her plate is even set, Alyssa excuses herself from the dinner table in order to change into her dance attire and examine her day clothes for any puke stains. She does this on routine now, because one time there was puke stains on her outfit from school, and in order to avoid suspicion, she went to the laundromat herself in the middle of the night. When she was there, she watched her singular shirt spin in the washing machine for too long, and nearly threw up again. Today there were no stains on her clothes, but unsurprisingly Alyssa has found one more mirror to look at herself in before heading to dance.
Hi, Alyssa. Hi.
Alyssa doesn't normally talk to herself.
I think I hate you. I think I hate you, and I'm not sure why anymore. I hate you for the way that you look. And I hate that you won't stop looking at me. Please. I just don't want to feel bad anymore.
From the kitchen, her mother calls. claiming they are going to be late for dance.
Coming!
As Alyssa's mother fills up a tank of gas, Alyssa notices a pastry on the dashboard. A strawberry Danish. She hasn't had one of these in years, though they used to be her favorite. The night at dance is typical. Alyssa stretches prior to sitting down and listening to her instructor act out her solo routine to her for the 33rd time while raising her voice an unnecessary amount. She does a workout that she is unsure even relates to dance. She then practices the routine once, twice, and a third time. She takes a short intermission to go dry heave in the family bathroom meant for small children. She works out again, and she practices the routine again. Perhaps the biggest issue with this entire situation is that actively dancing is the only way Alyssa is able to relieve her body of her mind. While her instructor yells about her figure and form, music plays all too loudly on loop for the 17th time, and painfully yellow lights burn a mark into Alyssa's face, she, somehow, finds herself free for the hour-long practice. Well, hour and 5-minute practice if you count the dismissal plank she's required to complete before leaving. After dance, and the day she's had filled with various stressors and sequences of fainting, Alyssa flops onto her bed and curls into the fetal position. Her body can't take much more, but once again, she has homework to complete, and doesn't want to repeat what happened this morning. Figuratively speaking, Alyssa is dead. Her metabolism is eating away fumes and her brain wants rest. However, a few moments ago on the way home, her mother was blasting music in an attempt to reconnect with Alyssa. The radio was left at a loud volume, and as Alyssa reaches for her backpack, her hand accidentally presses the ignition. Between hitting her head atop the roof and exhaustion, Alyssa can't help but cry.
All right, thank you to that listener for that request. Up next, we have Gone.
But that song. Alyssa recognizes the name of that song. It was her 8-year-old solo song, so painfully engraved to her memory that her body once again enters autopilot. She was never a big fan of it, but it seems to be the only bit of nostalgia she has left not destroyed by an eating disorder. She has nothing left to give, but her body has done this routine so many times that it practically takes nothing. And so, with the street lamp resembling a stage light just enough, Alyssa begins to perform in the middle of this painfully suburban road.
This place is hell. The things that you said, the way that I pushed it down, called you up to say that we're only friends. It's too late to change. It's too late to change. Gone, I'll be gone.
For the first time since she was a child, she moves ever so playfully, with the moon and the stars as a very grateful audience.
Gotta move on. Gone, I'll be gone. Don't try to stop this now. I've gotta move on.
At the conclusion of her performance, Alyssa feels something she has not quite felt in some time. Hunger.